Ever found yourself wondering about those giant machines that build the world? How do they actually get to factories all over the globe?
Right. We're talking massive, complicated machine tools, the heart of manufacturing.
And you're interested in specializing in machine tools.
Mm.
That's a fascinating niche. Today, we're diving deep into the world of the import-export specialist, the person who makes that global dance of machinery happen.
It's become such a specialized field these days.
To help us unpack all of this, we're turning to RoleCatcher. Their platform and career guide are seriously insightful.
It's not like the old days. Knowing how to ship something from point A to point B isn't enough anymore.
They even break down a career as an import-export specialist into stages. It's like leveling up in a video game. You start by assisting, then you're managing documentation, and eventually you could be running entire import-export operations. They've got it all laid out.
And you're right, machine tools are a smart move. There's huge demand, and the earning potential, let's just say it can be significant. But
There's always a but.
it also demands a deep understanding of international trade, not to mention a mountain of regulations. It's not for the faint of heart.
But that's what makes it so interesting. And RoleCatcher provides examples at each stage, showing exactly what skills you need to progress.
Speaking of skills, that's what I found so fascinating. They emphasize things like active listening, critical thinking, even geography.
Which makes total sense when you think about it.
Right. It makes you realize this role is about so much more than just moving stuff around.
You're not just dealing with cargo ships and containers. It's people, too. Suppliers, government officials. You'll definitely run into language barriers along the way. Honing those soft skills, that's crucial for navigating those complexities. Let me give you an example.
Okay, so paint a picture for us. Let's say you're coordinating the import of a massive 5-axis CNC machine from Germany.
We're talking millions of dollars easily for a machine like that, and it's not as simple as just putting it on a ship.
Of course not. What actually goes into getting that machine from, let's say, a factory floor in Germany to one right here in the US? First and foremost, you've got tariffs to think about.
Tariffs, right?
Essentially taxes on imported goods.
Okay.
And different countries, different tariffs. For something as high-tech as a 5-axis CNC machine, those tariffs can be a big deal.
So that's a major cost factor right off the bat.
Absolutely. Then you've got permits.
Permits.
You need specific ones for a 5-axis CNC machine because the technology might be subject to export controls. And then there's a whole issue of calibration.
Right, making sure it actually works when it arrives.
Precisely. That often means coordinating with technicians on both sides, Germany and the US. It's a delicate process.
Way more complicated than I ever would have imagined. RoleCatcher also gets into some of the, shall we say, less glamorous aspects of this career path, right?
Yeah.
It's not all smooth sailing, is it?
It definitely has its challenges. The travel can be a lot, especially when you're dealing with multiple time zones. Long hours come with the territory.
I bet.
And here's the thing. The regulations, always changing. Staying on top of those changes is crucial, which means committing to lifelong learning.
You definitely don't want to be the one who missed a crucial update in customs regulations. Ouch. But even with those challenges, imagine seeing a project like that through. You played a key role in getting essential equipment to where it needs to be. That's got to be rewarding.
The sense of accomplishment is definitely there, especially after overcoming unexpected obstacles. It's fast-paced, no doubt, but that also brings a certain energy to the work.
Like you're conducting a global orchestra, making sure every instrument arrives on time and in perfect harmony. Speaking of tools, though, I have to ask about this AI feature RoleCatcher has. The RoleCatcher Copilot. Tell me more about that. RoleCatcher Copilot, it's like something straight out of sci-fi. A virtual assistant for your career. How does that even work?
It's actually pretty amazing. It analyzes job descriptions, looks for keywords, skills that employers want. Then it takes your resume, compares the two, and suggests improvements. It even points out areas you might want to highlight.
So it's like having a personal resume writer and a career coach, all in one.
Kinda, yeah. And it helps you practice for interviews, too. Analyzes your responses, gives you feedback. Plus, they've got this massive library of common interview questions. Super valuable if you're getting ready for the job market.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
But like any tool, it's all about how you use it, right? You can't just rely on AI to do everything for you.
Definitely not. Technology is a great, powerful ally. But at the end of the day, it's your knowledge, your experience, your drive. That's what determines your success.
combining human strengths with the efficiency of technology.
Exactly. And speaking of essential skills, RoleCatcher talks about certifications that can give you a leg up in this whole import-export world. It's competitive out there.
Right, they mentioned a few, the Certified International Trade Professional, the Certified Export Specialist. Do those really make a difference on a resume?
Oh, absolutely. Import-export is so complex. These certifications, they show you've got the specialized knowledge, they're serious about your career, committed to professional growth.
So it's not just about knowing the rules, but proving it.
Exactly. Employers need to know they can trust you with all the ins and outs of international trade.
This has been such an eye-opening look at the world of import-export specialists.
Hmm.
For anyone out there who's picturing themselves jet-setting, negotiating deals for these giant machines, what does it really take to make it? What's the secret sauce?
It's a blend of skills and personality, really. You need that attention to detail, can't let anything slip through the cracks, deep understanding of international regulations, of course, and a knack for logistics, but
There's always a but.
you got to be adaptable, a strong communicator, you'll be in a fast-paced environment, often unpredictable, you got to thrive in that kind of setting.
So, love spreadsheets, but also have a thirst for adventure.
Something like that. And never underestimate those relationships. Suppliers, customs officials, everyone in between. It's about building those connections, making sure things run smoothly.
It really is like conducting a global orchestra, making sure all the instruments arrive on time, in perfect harmony, ready to make some beautiful music. For anyone intrigued by import-export, especially in a niche as exciting as machine tools, RoleCatcher's Guide is a fantastic resource. Their insights, the tools they offer, and especially that AI-powered co-pilot, those can give you a real edge in this field. Complex, yes, but also incredibly rewarding. And on that note, here's a final thought for our listeners to ponder. With all the advancements in automation, how do you think the role of the import-export specialist will change in the years to come? Will technology replace it or transform it? Something to think about as you explore this fascinating, ever-evolving world.